Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. And we just experienced the longest hiatus, or the longest number of days, that greatest number of days that I had to stop this reading since we started years ago. So welcome back to all of you. And I want to tell you that the feelings I have right now, being with you again and reading the Caitanya-caritämrta out loud, they've left me speechless. So there's not much more I can say about that, except I'm so happy to be back again with you and hearing Srila Prabhupada's books, Our Life and Soul. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his pastimes are the summum bonum of the summum bonum, the creme de la creme de la creme de la creme of everything relishable. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he glorified this Caitanya-caritämrta, which Srila Prabhupada expressed was the perfect Shastra. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, in due course, Mahapralaya, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam. But under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage. Because after it has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. So here we are. The devotees have again come to Jagannath Puri to participate in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the rainy season, the season when all of the special festivals occur. And this year, the wives of the devotees accompanied their husbands and had the opportunity to cook for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now they're returning to Bengal, and Lord Chaitanya is going to attempt to go to Vrndävana. Chapter 16, Madhya-lila, Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. And something happened right at the end of this visit. Advaitacharya and Lord Chaitanya were speaking together in a very special way. And the looks on their faces and the poetic expressions of what they were talking about, no one could understand. And then at some point, Advaitacharya smiled. And just after that, as he was saying goodbye to all of his devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had something to say to Nityananda Prabhu. And it doesn't say it explicitly, but this may have something to do with the conversation that Advaitacharya and Lord Chaitanya were having. So we're starting with text 63. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Nityananda Prabhu, "Please hear me, O holy man. I now request something of you. Kindly grant my request. Do not come to Jagannath Puri every year, but stay in Bengal and fulfill my desire." Purport. The mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to spread the only medicine effective in this fallen age of Kali, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Following the orders of his mother, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was residing at Jagannath Puri, and the devotees were coming to see him. However, the Lord felt that this message must be spread very elaborately in Bengal, and in his absence, there was not a second person capable of doing it. Consequently, the Lord requested Nityananda Prabhu to stay there and broadcast the message of Krishna consciousness. The Lord also entrusted a similar preaching responsibility to Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Nityananda Prabhu was requested not to come every year to Jagannath Puri, although seeing Lord Jagannath greatly benefits everyone. Does this mean that the Lord was refusing Nityananda Prabhu a fortunate opportunity? No. One who was a faithful servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must execute his order, even if one has to sacrifice going to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Jagannath there. In other words, it is a greater fortune to carry out Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order than to satisfy one's senses by seeing Lord Jagannath. Preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult throughout the world is more important than staying in Vrndävana or Jagannath Puri for one's own personal satisfaction. Spreading Krishna consciousness is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Therefore, his sincere devotees must carry out his desire. Pritiviti ache yatta narigarigram, nagaradigram, sarvatra prachar hoive morenam. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya must preach Krishna consciousness in every village and town in the world. That will satisfy the Lord. It is not that one should act whimsically for his own personal satisfaction. This order comes down through the parampara system, and the spiritual master presents these orders to the disciple so that he can spread the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the duty of every disciple to carry out the order of the bona fide spiritual master and spread Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Text 65. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "You can perform a task that even I cannot do. But for you, I cannot find anyone in Gaudadesh who can fulfill my mission there." Purport. Lord Chaitanya's mission is to deliver the fallen souls of this age. In this age of Kali, practically cent% of the population is fallen. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu certainly delivered many fallen souls, but his disciples mainly came from the upper classes. For example, he delivered Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and many others who were socially elevated but fallen from the spiritual point of view. Srila Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis were situated in government service, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the topmost scholar of India. Similarly, Prakashananda Saraswati was a leader of many thousands of Mayavadi sannyasis. It was Srila Nityananda Prabhu, however, who delivered persons like Jagai and Madhai. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, Amara dushkara karma toma haito hai. Jagai and Madhai were delivered solely by Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. When they injured Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya became angry and decided to kill them with his Sudarshan Chakra. But Nityananda Prabhu saved them from the Lord's wrath and delivered them. In the incarnation of Gaura Nitai, the Lord is not supposed to kill demons, but is supposed to deliver them by preaching Krishna consciousness. In the case of Jagai and Madhai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry that he would have immediately killed them. But Nityananda Prabhu was so kind that he not only saved them from death, but elevated them to the transcendental position. Thus, what was not possible for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was carried out by Nityananda Prabhu. Similarly, if one is true to Gaura Nitai's service in the disciplic succession, he can even excel Nityananda Prabhu's service. This is the process of disciplic succession. Nityananda Prabhu delivered Jagai and Madhai, but a servant of Nityananda Prabhu, by his grace, can deliver many thousands of Jagais and Madhais. Hare Krishna. So we are those many thousands, and Srila Prabhupada is the one who delivered us all. And now the disciples and grand disciples and sincere followers of Srila Prabhupada are spreading the movement even more by his mercy. That is the special benediction of the disciplic succession. One who is situated in the disciplic succession can be understood by the result of his activities. This is always true as far as the activities of the Lord and his devotees are concerned. Therefore, Lord Shiva says, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam padam tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samacharan. Of all types of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is best. And better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotee, the Vaishnava. This is from the Padma Purana. By the grace of Vishnu, a Vaishnava can render better service than Vishnu. That is the special prerogative of a Vaishnava. The Lord actually wants to see his servants work more gloriously than himself. For instance, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Sri Krishna provoked Arjuna to fight because all the warriors on the battlefield were to die by Krishna's plan. Krishna himself did not want to take credit. Rather, he wanted Arjuna to take credit. Therefore, he asked him to fight and win fame. Tasmat tvam utishta jasho labashva jitva shatrun bhungshvarajam samridham mayaivaite nihitak purvameva nimita matram babasavya sachin. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight, and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Bhagavad Gita 11:33. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives credit to a devotee who performs any heavy task perfectly. Hanumanji, or Vajrangaji, the servant of Lord Ramachandra, serves as another example. It was Hanumanji who jumped over the sea in one leap and reached the shore of Lanka from the shore of Bharatavarsha. When Lord Ramachandra chose to go there, he paved the way with stones, although by his will the stones were able to float on the sea. If we simply follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions and follow in the footsteps of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, this Krishna consciousness movement can advance, and even more difficult tasks can be performed by the preachers remaining faithful to the service of the Lord. Text 66. Nityananda Prabhu replied, O Lord, you are the life, and I am the body. There is no difference between the body and life itself, but life is more important than the body. 67. By your inconceivable energy, you can do whatever you like, and whatever you make me do, I do without restriction. Purport. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tenhe Brahma Vida Ya Adi Kavaye. Lord Brahma is the first living creature within this universe, and he is also the creator of this universe. How is this possible? Although he is the first living entity, Lord Brahma is not in the category of Vishnu Tattva. Rather, he is a part of the Jiva Tattva. Nonetheless, by the grace of the Lord, who instructed him through the heart, Tenhe Brahma Ridha, Lord Brahma could create a huge universe. Those who are actually pure devotees of the Lord are instructed by the Lord through the heart, where the Lord is always situated. Ishwara Sarvabhutanam Riddhishara Junatishtati, Bhagavad Gita 18:61. If he follows the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity, even though an insignificant creature, can perform the most difficult tasks by the Lord's grace. Lord Krishna confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Tesham satatadyuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Everything is possible for a pure devotee because he acts under the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through his inconceivable energy, a pure devotee can perform tasks that are supposed to be very, very difficult. He can perform tasks not even previously performed by the Lord himself. Therefore Nityananda Prabhu told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ye karaha se kari nahi ka niyama. I do not know by what regulative principle I am carrying out this wonderful work, but I know for certain that I will do whatever you desire. Although the Lord wants to give all credit to his devotee, the devotee himself never takes credit, for he acts only under the Lord's direction. Consequently, all credit goes to the Lord. This is the nature of the relationship between the Lord and his devotee. The Lord wants to give all credit to his servant, but the servant does not take any credit, for he knows that everything is carried out by the Lord. Text 68. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Nityananda Prabhu and bade him farewell. He then bade farewell to all the other devotees. Text 69. As in the previous year, one of the inhabitants of Kulinagram submitted a petition to the Lord, saying, "My Lord, kindly tell me what my duty is and how I should execute it." Text 70. The Lord replied, "You should engage yourself in the service of the servants of Krishna and always chant the holy name of Krishna. If you do these two things, you will very soon attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet." The inhabitant of Kulinagram said, "Please tell me, please let me know who is actually a Vaishnava and what his symptoms are." Understanding his mind, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and gave the following reply. Text 72. A person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that any Vaishnava who is constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord should be considered to have attained the second platform of Vaishnavism. Such a devotee is superior to a neophyte Vaishnava who has just learned to chant the holy name of the Lord. A neophyte devotee simply tries to chant the holy name, whereas the advanced devotee is accustomed to chanting and takes pleasure in it. Such an advanced devotee is called a Madhyam Bhagavat, which indicates that he has attained the intermediate stage between the neophyte and the perfect devotee. Generally, a devotee in the intermediate stage becomes a preacher. A neophyte devotee or an ordinary person should worship the Madhyam Bhagavat, who is a via medium. In his Upadeshamrita 5, Srila Rupa Goswami says, "Pranatibis cha bhajantam isham." This means that Madhyama Adhikari devotees should exchange obeisances between themselves. The word nirantara means without cessation, continuously, constantly. It is very important in this verse. The word antara means interval. If one has desires other than a desire to perform devotional service, in other words, if one sometimes engages in devotional service and sometimes strives for sense gratification, his service will be interrupted. A pure devotee, therefore, should have no desire other than to serve Krishna. He should be above fruitive activity and speculative knowledge. In his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami says, "Anya vilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama." This is the platform of pure devotional service. One should not be motivated by fruitive activity or mental speculation, but should simply serve Krishna favorably. That is first-class devotion. Another meaning of antara is this body. The body is an impediment to self-realization because it is always engaged in sense gratification. Similarly, antara means money. If money is not used in Krishna's service, it is also an impediment. Antara also means janata. people in general. The association of ordinary persons may destroy the principles of devotional service. Similarly, antara may mean greed. Greed to acquire more money or enjoy more sense gratification. Finally, the word antara may also mean atheistic ideas, by which one considers the temple deity to be made of stone, wood, or gold. All of these are impediments. The deity in the temple is not material. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Similarly, considering the spiritual master an ordinary human being, Gurushu Naramati, is also an impediment. Nor should one consider a Vaishnava a member of a particular caste or nation. Nor should a Vaishnava be considered material. Charanamrita should not be considered ordinary drinking water, and the holy name of the Lord should not be considered an ordinary sound vibration. Nor should one look on Lord Krishna as an ordinary human being, for He is the origin of all Vishnu tattvas. Nor should one regard the Supreme Lord as a demigod. Intermingling the spiritual with the material causes one to look on transcendence as material and the mundane as spiritual. This is all due to a poor fund of knowledge. One should not consider Lord Vishnu and things related to Him as being different. All this is offensive. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 265, Srila Jiva Goswami writes, Namaikam yasya vachi smarana patagatam ityadau deha dravinadi nimitikam pashandi shabdena chad dasha aparadha lakshante pashanda mayatvat tesham. In this verse beginning, na maikam yasya, we find the word pashanda, godlessness. The word literally indicates misuse of one's body or property. But in that verse, it implies the 10 offenses against the Lord's holy name, since each of these leads to such godless behavior. The Mayavadis look on Vishnu and Vaishnavas imperfectly due to their poor fund of knowledge. And this is condemned. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.46, the intermediate Vaishnava is described as follows. Ishvare tadadineshu balisheshu dvishat sucha prema maitri kripopeksha yakkaroti samajjamaha. The intermediate Vaishnava has to love God, make friends with the devotees, instruct the innocent, and reject jealous people. These are the 4 functions of the Vaishnava in the intermediate stage. In the Caitanya-caritämrta, Madhya 22.64, Sri Sanatana Goswami is taught, Shraddha Van Janahaya Bhakti Adhikari Uttama Madhyama Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. One who is faithful is a proper candidate for devotional service. In terms of one's degree of faith in devotional service, one is a first class, second class, or neophyte Vaishnava. Shastra yukti nahi jani drita shadavan madhyama adhikari say maha bhagyavan. One who has attained the intermediate stage is not very advanced in shastric knowledge, but he has firm faith in the Lord. Such a person is very fortunate to be situated on the intermediate platform. C.C. Madhya 22.67. Rati prema dharatamye bhakta taratama. Attraction and love for God are the ultimate goal of devotional service. The degrees of such attraction and love distinguish the different stages of devotion: neophyte, intermediate, and perfectional. C.C. Madhya 2271. An intermediate devotee is greatly attracted to chanting the holy name, and by chanting, he is elevated to the platform of love. If one chants the holy name of the Lord with great attachment, he can understand his position as an eternal servant of the spiritual master, other Vaishnavas, and Krishna himself. Thus the intermediate Vaishnava considers himself Krishna Das, Krishna's servant. He therefore preaches Krishna consciousness to innocent neophytes and stresses the importance of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. An intermediate devotee can identify the non-devotee or motivated devotee. The motivated devotee or the non-devotee are on the material platform, and they are called prakrita. The intermediate devotee does not mix with such materialistic people. However, he understands that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and everything related to him are on the same transcendental platform. Actually, none of them are mundane. Text 73. The following year, the inhabitants of Kulinagram again asked the Lord the same question. Now this is the third time. The first time, when they asked what a Vaishnava is, Lord Chaitanya said, one who has chanted Hare Krishna once should be considered a Vaishnava. And then the second time we just heard about, if one is constantly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, in other words, if he's attached to chanting Hare Krishna, then he should be worshipped and bowed down to, paid obeisances to. Then, the following year, the inhabitants of Kulinagram again asked the Lord the same question. Hearing this question, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again taught them about the different types of Vaishnavas. Text 74. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, a first-class Vaishnava is he whose very presence makes others chant the holy name of Krishna. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that if an observer immediately remembers the holy name of Krishna upon seeing a Vaishnava, that Vaishnava should be considered a Maha Bhagavat, a first-class devotee. Such a Vaishnava is always aware of his Krishna-conscious duty, and he is enlightened in self-realization. He is always in love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and this love is without adulteration. Because of this love, he is always awake to transcendental realization. Because he knows that Krishna consciousness is the basis of knowledge and action, he sees everything as being connected with Krishna. Such a person is able to chant the holy name of Krishna perfectly. Such a Mahabhagavat Vaishnava has the transcendental eyes to see who is sleeping under the spell of Maya, and he engages himself in awakening sleeping conditioned beings by spreading the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. He opens eyes that are closed by forgetfulness of Krishna. Thus, the living entity is liberated from the dullness of material energy and is engaged fully in the service of the Lord. This Madhyama Adhikari Vaishnava can awaken others to Krishna consciousness and engage them in duties whereby they can advance. It is therefore said in the Caitanya-caritämrta, Madhya-lila, chapter 6, verse 279. Lohake yavat sparshe hemanahi kare, tavat sparsha manikeha, chinite na pare. One can understand the value of touchstone. One cannot understand the value of touchstone until it turns iron into gold. One should judge by action, not by promises. A Mahabhagavat can turn a living entity from abominable material life to the Lord's service. This is the test of a Mahabhagavat. Although preaching is not meant for a Mahabhagavat can descend to the platform of Madhyama Bhagavat just to convert others to Vaishnavism. Actually, a Mahabhagavat is fit to spread Krishna consciousness, but he does not distinguish where Krishna consciousness should be spread from where it should not. He thinks that everyone is competent to accept Krishna consciousness if the chance is provided. A neophyte and an intermediate devotee should always be eager to hear the Mahabhagavat and serve him in every respect. The neophyte and intermediate devotees can gradually rise to the platform of Uttama Adhikari and become first-class devotees. Symptoms of a first-class devotee are given in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2:45. Sarva bhuteshu yak pashyad bhagavad bhavam atmanaha bhutani bhagavatyatmani esha bhagavatotama. The most advanced devotee sees within everything the soul of all souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he sees systematically everything in relation to the Supreme Lord and understands that everything that exists is eternally situated within the Lord. When teaching Sanatana Goswami, the Lord further said, Shastra yukte sunipuna drida shradhayana uttama adhikari se taraye samara sangsara. One who is expert in the Vedic literature and has full faith in the Supreme Lord is an Uttama Adhikari, a first-class Vaishnava, a topmost Vaishnava who can deliver the whole world and turn everyone to Krishna consciousness. C.C. Madhya 22:65. With great love and affection, the Mahabhagavat observes the Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotional service, and the devotee. He observes nothing beyond Krishna, Krishna consciousness, and Krishna's devotees. Let me read these last two sentences. These are very important. With great love and affection, the Mahabhagavat observes the Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotional service, and the devotees. He observes nothing beyond Krishna, Krishna consciousness, and Krishna's devotees. The Mahabhagavat knows that everyone is engaged in the Lord's service in different ways. He therefore descends to the middle platform to elevate everyone to the Krishna conscious position. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The science of Krishna consciousness ki jai. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. So, I'm going to stop the reading now. And eagerly wait for the reflections from all of you who have been waiting for so long. What is it, a month? A month, more or less. And any discussions or whatever. Hare Krishna.
lots and lots of comments.
Well, I think I kind of expected that.
Yaduttama Das says, Jai Haribol.
Jai Yaduttama Prabhu Hare Krishna.
Rati Manjari says, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Jai Rati.
Janava Sundari, Jackie Janava Sundari Lieberman says, oh my gosh, so glad you're back, Maharaj.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be back. You cannot imagine what I've been through. And I'm not going to go into the details. But just suffice it to say that when I got out of the hospital, I got the rare opportunity to stay in the home of a family, a Vaishnava family, the head of the family of whom was the surgeon who did this hip replacement on my body. And they were very, very nice, and they gave us so much hospitality and so much love and affection. And I was able to read some things to them. I couldn't do much because I couldn't get out of the bed very much. But still, it was very clear that Krishna was protecting me and keeping me in the association of Vaishnavas, even in such an awkward position. And for that I will be eternally indebted. And I've just been counting the days until I can sit down again and do this, read the Caitanya-caritämrta to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Brian Phillips says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, so wonderful to see you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, wonderful to see you too. Hare Krishna.
Rani Fatai, I think Radhananda Devidasi. The name is Rani Fatai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Gopi Chandra Devidasi, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. So great to see you again.
Thank you, Gopi Chandra. I haven't been writing very much lately since I've been in this kind of debilitated condition, but I have a letter in my mind to write you. I'll write you very soon. Hare Krishna.
And more from Yaduttama. He says, please accept my humble obeisances, Gurudev. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. So wonderful to see you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Gopakanya Devidasi says, Jai, dear Maharaj, welcome back with us. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Prabhupada. I'm getting strength by the second from all of you.
Rati Manjari says, great to have you back into our vision.
Hare Krishna.
Gopal Roy Das.
Hey Gopal.
He says, welcome back, Maharaj. I feel complete again.
Hey, thanks. Me too. Or as we say in the States, ditto.
From Maharani Vrndävana Dasi. She says, Hare Krishna, dear uncle.
Hare Krishna, dear niece.
From Bhakta Patrick in Houston.
Oh, Bhakta Patrick, Haribo, Haribo.
He says, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Bhakta Patrick, I was thinking of you a lot while I was going through this trauma and getting some light and lightening up. Thank you.
From Sudevi Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Sudevi Dasi.
She says, I am so happy to see you again. It is mutual. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai.
My mother left her body on Wednesday.
Oh.
And having you here today live is the greatest relief I find.
Oh, well, we pray for your dear mother. I know that she was a devotee, and I know that because you became a pure devotee of Prabhupada, that she also attained perfection. Hare Krishna.
Says glories to Srila Prabhupada. From Davide.
Davide.
He says, Jai Maharaj.
Hey Davide, Hare Krishna.
from Rasika Shiramani.
Hey Rasika, Haribol.
He says, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Caitanya-caritämrta.
All glories to Caitanya-caritämrta. See you soon.
Vilasini Devidasi, I think, Vanessa Marcello.
Yes, that's Vilasini Devidasi.
All glories to your service, Maharaj. So good to see you back.
So good to see you, and also I have a letter from you that I'm gonna answer, but I got way behind this last month for obvious reasons. But please know that I'm always thinking of you with affection. Thank you.
And from Charlie Davison.
Hey Charlie, Bhakta Charlie, Hare Krishna.
He says, Hare Krishna. From Nayon Kanti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sucharu Devi Dasi.
Sucharu Devi Dasi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances to your lotus feet.
I'm getting just so much spiritual relief. I can't believe it. Hare Krishna. I'm so fortunate to be with all of you. Hare Krishna.
A few things from Braj Balaba.
Hare Krishna, Braj Balaba.
He says, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, I was wondering when you would resume mail service.
Mail service? From this point on, I'm behind, and I know that there's one message that you sent me that I haven't answered yet, but I was kind of preparing myself today for this momentous occasion that I could start to read again, you know. Yes, consider my mail, what did he call it? Mail service? Yes, resumed.
He also was asking, how can we be ready right at the time of death to think of Krishna?
By practicing from now on until you leave. There's only one way to become ready for that time, and that's constant practice while you're alive, under all conditions. And that's why we have to go through these waves and troughs of experience. We have to go through all the ups and downs of the tossing of the modes of material nature, and we become fixed by responding to Krishna with gratitude and appreciation and love for putting us through different situations that give us an opportunity to prove our love for Him. And gives us an opportunity to prove to Him that we love Him and that we have full faith in Him. And if we practice seriously in this life, from the moment that we find out about this, then even if we can't, because of some accident or some force of circumstance, Krishna will come to us. Prabhupada told us this. If you just practice diligently and sincerely and seriously in this life, then when it comes time to leave, Krishna will come to us. Even if it's such an abrupt ending or something like that won't allow us to chant properly, to remember Him with love. He loves us so much. He will come to us and help us come back to Him.
Another comment from Rasika.
Yes, Rasika.
He says, all glories to your merciful yajna on behalf of us, the conditioned and ignorant. So wonderful to know that you are healing and back to the service that you relish the most.
Yes, this is the service I relish the most. Thank you so much.
Braj Balaba says, Maharaj said it is just the messenger delivering the mail. I was just making a joke, sort of.
Oh,
Sorry
I see.
if I offended.
No, that's nice. That's nice. I should have picked up on it. It went over my head. That's because you're so clever.
Another comment from Yadutama.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I unfortunately missed most of the reading because of work tonight, but I have been waiting impatiently for your return and will listen back to back with tomorrow's reading.
Thank you very much.
You purify our lives every day when you read.
Thank you very much.
You keep us on the straight and narrow to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and
Thank
Sri
you
Sri
very
Gaur
much.
Nitai.
I want to share one thing that happened while we were staying at the house of Chakradhari and Raj Lakshmi. And their two lovely children, Gauranga Madhava, 8-year-old, and Hari Priya, 14-year-old. And they both told me separately, the day before I left, that they thanked me because they said the atmosphere in their house changed. And they said, now it seems like it's a temple. Even though they have that lovely altar that you saw the last 2 days before I went into the hospital. So that was a very special occasion, very special. How Krishna can turn such a difficult situation, such a painful situation, into something like that through the mouths of babes. Through the mouths of babes. So I'm running out of time that I can sit in a chair. Please don't mind. It'll be like this for a while, probably for a while longer, maybe even another 2 or 3 weeks. So I'll go as long as I can, I promise. But tonight I have to stop. Hare Krishna. And if I didn't catch all of the reciprocation that you were pouring on me so mercifully, please forgive me if I didn't answer all of your comments and all of your appreciations. But I'm out of my quota to stay in the chair. I have to get off the seat now. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. We'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same station, same subject, right here in the Haven, Hythe, Kent, UK. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow. Hari Bol.